You are about to listen to the Am I Mental podcast. If you're listening to this as a recording, go ahead and skip to the 5-minute mark. The first 5 minutes or so is an instrumental used to allow for people to go ahead and join in on the chat and not miss any of the episode. In the meantime, if you like the music, feel free to enjoy it because here it comes. following broadcast is intended for mature audiences. These are real people sharing very real, deeply personal experiences. This content may be considered triggering for others and for those who are sharing. The chat room is a privilege intended for discussions and sharing. You are not being asked to agree, but you are being asked to stay civil and refrain from personal attacks. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome back to Am I Mental? A live podcast where real people share stories about how life impacts mental health and how mental health impacts life. I'm your host, E, and with us tonight, as becoming more frequently again, we have the co-host C.
Hello.
And unfortunately, Bexy is squeaking like a mouse and has been for the last 3 days. So she will not be joining us in the audio, but she'll probably jump in on the chat because, well, she can't resist. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Our chat is already hopping pretty well. We have a number of people in there, so it's really great to see that. So thank you for joining. Thank you for cutting in a little early. Really appreciate that. If you guys love what you hear and want to help us out, there's a number of ways you could do it. We do have a webpage of amimental.net. And on there, if you go to amimental.net/donate, there's a number of ways you can donate, including buying merchandise to help us out financially, because we are 100% listener sustained. Every penny we get in donations goes right back to the podcast. And if you really want to help, share episodes. If you know someone that is having a struggle, or they're feeling like their issues don't matter, or they're isolated, alone, or other people have it worse, whatever, there's probably an episode at this point that they could relate to. If you could find it, just share it with them, or even share one that you relate to and maybe explain why you listen to this podcast. It's the best way to help us, honestly, is to help us grow. We've already saved a few lives, and we're hoping to keep saving lives as we go. That's kind of the goal of this, is to, one, help to destigmatize mental health. Two, to let others know that you're not alone. And that has the side effect of changing and helping lives, which is, always a good thing. With that out of the way, we have tonight's guest, Jamie. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Okay.
I'm Jamie. Here I am.
And that's all the time that we have. No, just kidding.
All right. Well, it was nice being on your podcast, and I'll see you guys next time. No.
So I was trying to get some other guys in on this episode, but one gave the immediate hell no, and I just got ghosted by some others. So it's just Jamie and me. And for me, I don't have a ton of experience with this. Even though I've had a buttload of kids, I don't know that I necessarily had the male postpartum very much. I mean, yeah, there were issues, just adjusting, but there are some guys out there that they get it akin to how women do, and sometimes in their own ways, and that it could be worse. And Jamie here has experienced it, and
yeah, and it was like, for me, it was like, well, the first one was the worst. I didn't really get it so much for the second one, so I'm like, my postpartum experience is like 7. Oh, he's not even here. Yeah, it's like 17 years ago, really. But I'll go through whatever I can remember, and
Yeah, so 17 years ago, you were a lot younger. I mean, let's face it, we all were. And honestly,
gloriously younger.
And it's like, as a dad, I could understand the change of, well, not really, actually, because I never had the no kids experience by being married. I married someone that already had a kid. So I started out with, instant family.
Kids.
But I did notice the change when we had the second kid, which was my first. That I got, I had a kid before, but that one... that's a different story. That's a totally different story. But the second kid I had was my first with my now ex-wife, and she already had a kid. And yeah, there was definitely a life change, because now you had this little pink goblin thing that all it does is sleep and scream and shit all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm sure there was more to it for you.
No, that's basically what they did.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as how it impacted you, because for me it was,
I
got a little less sleep than I normally did. I've already done the diaper thing, except that this time the dirty diaper doesn't go running down the hallway screaming because it's not capable yet.
Yeah, you got some of that, like.
Yeah, see, it happens.
Right, yeah. Whereas,
I know.
For me,
I know. That's why I'm laughing. I grew up my entire life around small children, so I know.
Yeah. I mean, ever since my dad's side of the family is huge. He has 9 brothers and sisters. So whenever we had family reunions or any kind of get-together, there was always diapers being changed. Well, now we have the next generation of kids get their diapers changed, and we have the parents that are getting up there enough to where we have to start thinking about getting their diapers changed. So yeah, the running away screaming with the dirty diaper down the hall, that could be my dad. That could be one of my cousins. Who knows?
Yeah, for me, once my first one showed up, I mean, it was a completely different, it was like a life-changing. It's not like getting you have a new pet. It was like, oh no, it's always, squeaking to go outside and go potty. And it's like, God, how do you explain it really? It's like, you don't get to be Peter Pan anymore. You got to,
yeah.
Like if you're just like married to someone, it's like, okay, yeah, we're grown-ups and everything. But now you have this new little creature that's totally relying on you to live, and you don't get to do what you want anymore. Ever. Right. For a good while anyway. It's like, oh, you want to sleep? Oh, no. I don't care if it's 2 a.m. and you just got to bed at, 12:30. No. Time to wake up, and
I'm going to wake up and I'm going to sing the songs of my people.
The songs of my people are like, oh God, why? So
that's our response.
That's a song of my people.
Yeah. So I'm just checking out. It's DrSarahHalen.com talking about parental depression. She was saying between 15 to 20% of new mothers experience depression in the first year after giving birth, and also that maternal depression can negatively affect both a child's cognitive and behavioral development. Now they're starting to discover that, and this was 20 years ago, they're starting to discover that becoming a father increases a man's risk of experiencing anxiety and depression as well, and that too can impact a child's development. One recent study was published in Pediatrics that found that the symptoms of depression rise about 68% for fathers that live with their children between the time a baby is born until the child is 5 years old.
Mm. Yeah, and I was always kind of subject to anxiety and depression before that, so yeah, but that was super fun. But I don't know. It's weird. I don't know how to really describe it. Really, I've been thinking about it all day. Like, how am I going to talk about this stuff? But I mean, it's like, unless you've actually been through it and done it, then it's like, okay. Then
yeah, and right now Bexy also tossed in there Dr. Ella Speichinger. I don't know. I'm probably trashing the name. As an OBGYN says that men show signs of PPD later than most women. On average, about 2 to 6 months after the baby is born. Yeah, and DeVerne just popped on.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, DeVerne just popped on saying, men get that? Huh. I thought it was just a woman thing. That's all I ever hear about on the TV. And see, that's kind of part of the problem, is that it's
right.
All you ever hear about is the women's side. Now, yeah, the women's side for PPD, it's largely hormonal driven.
Right. And can be way worse even, but yeah.
I mean, you could go from postpartum depression to postpartum psychosis, and that's when the really bad shit happens.
Yeah.
That's the stuff like dad comes home to find all of his children and his wife drowned in the tub.
Right. Yeah.
Or
And
mama drove the car off the cliff with the kids.
right.
Yeah.
As you know, we
And
all know has actually happened. So yeah.
yeah. And as a dad, knowing that shit, you know that sits right in the back of your head.
Right. Yeah. You know, you're at work all day, or maybe you have to go to work, a couple days a week that you don't even get to come home, so it's like you got to think about that stuff, and then like, oh God.
Yeah, and then I can only imagine that
fear.
And I can only imagine that, say, for a military dad, you get your wife pregnant and then you're deployed. You don't even get to come home for the birth. And that's got to be terrifying, too. On top of that, it's like, I don't get to see my kid. And if my wife happens to go off the deep end because of this, I will never see my kid.
Right. And I've heard some horror stories, like, I'm a veteran, but I was like...
And thank you for your service.
But
Oh, no. I mean it. Thank you for your service.
All right. Anyway. All right. For a lot of us, that kind of wears us out, but it's fine. But where was I going?
The horror stories that you heard about.
Well, yeah, just like I was in from 95 to 99, so it was kind of like the Bill Clinton in between wars, kind of weird stuff.
Yeah, we just had our policing operations like the end of the Berlin Wall. We still have a lot of people that are stationed in Korea, a lot of people in Japan, a lot of people all around the world.
Right. And like, even though I was in during like peacetime, we still got deployed to all sorts of random stuff that we'd have to be gone for a month or 2 or 3 months, doing random stuff. And there'd be guys that came back and it was like, oh yeah, my wife was fooling around with me when I got back, and stuff like that. So, and then I have other friends that that stayed in after I got out, and they'd come back to meet their kid, and it's like, oh, here you go, here's your 8-month-old, kind of thing. So that is a fear for a lot of like dudes, coming back, and maybe you'll come back to nothing, and like, oh, she took my kid and cleaned out my bank account, and I'm coming back to nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know what went to that. I don't know. I went off on a weird tangent. Sorry.
That's all right. So there's an amazing site that I found. It's Postpartum Depression Alliance of Illinois, ppdil.org. They actually have a page, a thing every Monday. They have Postpartum Support International's Monday Chats for Men. So every Monday they have a chat going on postpartum.net specifically for men.
Well, that's encouraging.
That's encouraging. So it looks like there's a lot of places out there that are already getting out there. Oh, of course, I click on the link and it goes error 404. Well then.
Never mind. Sorry, dudes.
Yeah, postpartum.net. Let's just see what I can find here. Okay, this is an amazing picture. I'm going to have to drop this a link in our Discord. If you haven't gotten to our Discord, just go to mimental.net. Up at the top of the screen, there's a little button to get to our Discord. And yeah, check us out.
Devern says, I realize I don't know much about it all. Like, how is it that you clearly want to protect your kids, but postpartum makes you do bad things to kids because you gave birth or are the father to them? I don't think I know much about this. What I can say of what I've observed from my sister was she had postpartum because she gave birth to 2 children at a relatively close time, and she felt her body was no longer hers.
Ooh.
And she had no time to do anything. She was constantly working, and she had a a disabled child, so she was very busy. That's how she developed hers, but that's just her story, you know? It's different for everyone.
Yeah. And I could see, I mean, if you have two kids really close together and you have no time to take care of yourself because you're busy taking care of two kids, looking at my two youngest kids because they're pretty close together when they were both in diapers at the same time, that's pretty close together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see how a woman could feel like that their body's not theirs anymore. One child will go. One child will wreck your body.
Yeah. And I remember my wife saying it was like, it was like all these people want me for my body. Just let me, just go away. I just want to,
And when you're
have some quiet time for myself.
And when you're suffering,
all these demands.
Yeah. And honestly, when you're suffering, the real issue comes down to that you may think really not normal things. That's what a crisis is. That's what a psychiatric crisis is.
Oh, yeah.
And you could think, I didn't have these problems when I didn't have the kids. And there's the seed.
And or you can get to the point where just like, make this all end. I am so overwhelmed. I'm just like, every day is just like coming down on me, like all these different things coming from different angles, and just make it all end.
Yes.
Or you feel like a bad parent and you feel worthless and like your kid doesn't deserve you. Things like that, Just.
That's a valid point.
Yep, just found out.
Across this,
Just found out that the Discord link isn't working, so I just messaged our webmaster saying, "Hey, can you use this link that I just created?" So we'll get that fixed.
You have a webmaster? Wow,
they volunteered again. It's amazing. Like there's one person that has volunteered to try to help with the scheduling. Unfortunately, I'm having problems with my Twitter account. I'm not banned. I just don't have a phone number that I can use because my phone number is banned. So, yeah.
Dude, like a burner phone is like $15.
Yeah, no, I'm actually considering getting a legitimate phone just for the podcast. So that way if people actually want to talk on the phone with me to start scheduling stuff, I could have a phone. And my current job pays well enough where I think I'm going to jump on that.
Burner phone. Maybe you can upgrade to get like a $25 burner phone that's, actually like a smartphone even.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about getting like a track phone.
Yeah.
One of those pay-as-you-go phones.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we did for our kids. We're not putting them on our account. Yeah.
All right, one of my cousins just said, "I wish I had the attention span required to listen. 3 seconds in and I see a squirrel." And I was like, yeah, that's me too. And I'm the host. So Austin just asked about a Google Voice number. Yeah, my Google Voice number also got banned, and I don't want to change it because it's a fucking awesome number.
What did you do to get your Google Voice number?
What is the Google Voice number?
You haven't heard about the Google Voice? All right,
I don't think so. Is it Siri?
No. Google Voice.
Then I have no idea.
Yeah, Google Voice is that you can get a phone number through Google that can forward to your normal phone. And you can even have it to the point where it takes over so that way your regular phone number is like kind of hidden in the background and you're using the Google Voice phone number instead.
Okay.
I just have the Voice app on my phone, so when I get a call through Google Voice, my Voice app says something. It also does screenings. You can...
Or used to.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you could do on it. One of them was that you could take phone numbers like for spammers and give the disconnect signal. So if they were like the telemarketers when they call, they get that doo doo doo, and then they'd be like, oh, okay, well, take them off the list.
Oh, that's so cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. Now going back.
He had a good question. How did it get banned?
It's not the phone number that got banned. It
was the person behind it.
No, it was. I created an account. You see, I had an account on Twitter that was linked to my main phone number. I got permanently banned on that. So then I used my Google Voice number for another account. And, well...
Apparently you need to set boundaries for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need like a ease, shit posting, phone number. And
yeah. Well, now they've actually gotten smart with Twitter. If you're getting a phone number through a service that's like Google Voice and the many others that are out there, they're like, yeah, no, you need a legitimate phone number from a carrier.
I need to look back into
our Discord has been updated with the new, or not our Discord, our website has been updated with a new Discord invite that works.
Bexy says, likely trolling the trolls.
It's what I do. I troll the trolls, and they are the ones that
troll. It's very meta because it's trolls trolling the trolls that are trolling.
Well, yeah, no, it's like trolling normies is easy. Trolling the trolls is fun.
Boring.
Yeah, but what's funny is that the people that are the most sensitive to being trolled, to throw the biggest fits, are trolls. They don't like it when you play their game against them.
They're like, hey, yeah.
But going back to the topic, DeVern did ask a really good question. He asked that he got in late. Did you have any of the male postpartum E? No, I did not that I could think of. I was so over the moon when I had the kid, with my ex-wife, that I was just like euphoric the entire time. Yeah, I didn't sleep as much, but I was also 22, so it's not like I needed sleep. I may have experienced it minorly with my last two because that was 38 and 40. That's getting old.
You get tired.
Yeah, you get tired.
You just want to sleep through the night.
No, I'm sorry. Let me fix that. 39 and 41. Those were the ages.
I remember how much energy I had when I was 39.
39? That was a while ago for me. 29 was a long time ago for me. 19 is a vague memory.
19? Yeah. Kids at that time sounded like, can I have anthrax or kids? I don't know. Which one is better?
And yeah, for those listeners that are not aware, when I think Jamie's about my age.
We're pretty close, I think.
Yeah. When we're talking about anthrax, we're not talking about the disease.
No, we're talking about getting gassed with the poison, I think. But no, actually, which gives you the disease, and you got anthrax. So whatever.
Well, yeah. I thought you were actually mentioning the band, Caught in the Mosh.
No, never caught the mosh.
Oh, so your wife is giving me a little stuff about how the postpartum affected you.
Oh, it's not enough. Yeah. Oh,
do you want me to?
She's sending you secret little notes.
Here, you want me to send it to you so you can read it and then be like, oh, or oh.
Maybe, sure. Actually,
yeah, I can do that.
Because I tried to block a lot of that stuff out of my mind. So, I mean,
right.
Any sort of refreshers I would actually be helpful for this whole conversation here.
Yeah, no problem. Come on.
I'll open up a third screen even. Bam.
Here we go. It's coming across on Messenger. And just a second here. There we are. And boom. Oh yeah, and then your wife also made another really big point, which
she has some good points there.
Yeah. There's that one I sent you had two really good points, and then she also sent just a third good point that I could just drop on because it's true.
No,
You know,
that's very. Those are amazing points.
so yeah,
Great
the first one is definitely
Good job,
all you. The second and third ones are definitely something that we could just talk about, in general. Like,
But like
in
I just wanna
birthing classes and parenting classes, they never mentioned about male postpartum, ever.
no.
And that one that you read too, guys, boys typically aren't raised playing house or taking care of
We're
dolls,
playing
stuff like that.
Cowboys and Indians. We're playing Army, or we're
Playing with our
Hot Wheels,
Tonka toys.
Tonka trucks. But that's not just for boys.
Yeah, I mean, none of it really is. I mean, if you really,
No.
now with my sister, my sister and I, we lived in a neighborhood where there were no other kids our age, so
Me too.
we were pretty much it. And basically, it was when she wanted to play house, either she played alone or I would join her. And if I was bored out of my mind, I would join her. And honestly, I had fun doing it. And then when I was being babysat, I was being babysat by my aunt and my 2 female cousins. So, yeah, I got pulled into playing house and playing with dolls pretty often. Because, God, there was nothing else to do. you know? But I was also able to pull them into doing things that I was interested in. Like, hey, let's go play with bugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's play with the Tonka trucks. Let's blow shit up.
Let's make the Tonka trucks crash into each other until somebody gets hurt.
Oh, my sister and I used to have constructs. There's
the
blast from the past.
Oh,
the little gray struts with the blue knobs. Then you just slap them together.
Yeah, it was just like a little thing in there.
Yeah. My sister and I, we would build cars and we would sit on opposite ends of the hall and just smash them into each other.
Oh.
And what was funny is that you would start progressing like, oh, okay, so yours was bigger and did more damage, so I'm going to make mine bigger. Eventually got to the point where it's like they got so big, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this really small one, and it's just going to razor through yours. And then it's like this whole evolution goes small, getting big again, goes small, getting big again. Kind of like wide receivers and quarterbacks in the NFL.
My brother and I used to do that too because, well, he had kids his age that just lived up the road from us, but I had nobody within like 5 miles. So up until I was like 14, 15, then, made it super boring. But so me and my brother used to like do these things with Legos where we'd each build our own little vehicle and we'd try to smash them into each other and like see which one survived. And it'd be like, try to deconstruct it. It was like, oh, well, why did this one survive? Oh, okay. Oh, it's because you intermeshed the long Legos with the short Legos. So, we'd actually get like pretty deep into their kind of like BattleBot style.
Yep. And see, there's actually a really good question in the chat.
What?
If you want to take it.
Let me see. See if I can find it.
It's from Deverne. Should be the last chat.
Oh. Says, this seems like something that would happen so fast that it would be hard to manage in time. Is there even a way to get on top of it?
Now,
the depression stuff?
Yeah. Now the female postpartum, it comes on really fast, but not only is it there's the emotional side of it, there's also the hormonal side of it. And the reason I think there's a delay with the guys is that we kind of know going in that we're going to have to potentially deal with a woman that's suffering from postpartum. And we kind of know going into it that, our life is going to change. We don't know the full extent. But the hormones of one person do affect the hormones of those around them. And yeah, there is a hormonal aspect with the guys, and it does take a little bit. Now, one way I could put it is, if you're a young father or even like a young mother, or just young in general, when you start having a psychiatric crisis, it's hard to tell because you don't know what to look for.
No.
And
we're not told.
No, you're not told. And the scary thing is that when you're having a crisis, you don't see that you're having a problem. You see that everybody else around you is having a problem. That's because you're not in your right mind.
Right.
At least that's how it is for me.
Yeah. And well, like as per like, dude culture kind of thing, it's like, don't talk about your problems, for one thing. But like for me especially, I came from like, well, army. So you can get drunk and cry with your bros every now and then. Don't do it too often, or you're, thought down in bed. Like, a couple times a year, you'd be like, "Yeah, I love you guys," and it's like the you can break down and like tell somebody your problems every now and then, and you won't be looked down upon without becoming like a weepy pussy, basically.
And that bing was me that you just heard.
Yeah, I see it. So, and then, yeah, for like, I don't know, and like the male culture thing, it's like, you don't talk about your problems with your friends, really. I mean, that's like typically. So
right, definitely that was huge with previous generations. Our generation is the one that really started to break that mold, I think. Like,
and I really like how it's getting better for like the newer generations too.
Oh yeah,
the Zoomers and stuff, they don't care. They'll just like
millennials and Zoomers have it a lot better, especially the guys, than Gen X did, which is still better than what the baby boomers had.
Yeah,
which was still better than the Greatest Generation and beyond.
Oh, Greatest Generation are like, oh, you got problems with just eat your pistol, kind of.
Yeah, if you're not eating your pistol, you're getting drunk and beating your kids and wife.
Right? Yeah, because that's what a man does. I give him respect. But
yeah, no, I'm sorry. It takes more balls to admit you're having a problem than it is to hide it.
Oh my fucking God, it is. Ugh. Am I allowed to swear on the show? Sorry, I should have asked earlier.
Yeah, you can fucking swear.
Oh, fucking awesome. Great.
Yeah, right. That's typically how I let people know. Yeah, you can fucking swear.
All right. I watch a lot of podcasts, and, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Yeah,
yeah, we have. Well, because we talk
I
about.
To ask earlier.
We talk about
I've never been on a podcast before.
Oh well, congratulations. No, we talk about very adult stuff, so I flag the explicit tag, because even if we don't swear, we're still talking about really adult stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, kids also suffer their own mental health issues. I'm not going to say they don't. Look at every teenager ever. We were all teenagers. We all were having crises and mental health issues during my teenage years. I know I did.
Oh yeah.
I think every teenager does, but yeah, we don't really need 7-year-olds listening to this.
Probably not best on the next playlist,
Yeah, no. Even without the swearing, it's just no.
Yeah, no.
The last thing I'd like to get is that message going, yeah, my kid came up to me and asked, "Mommy, what's eating a pistol mean?" No.
Well,
if your kid does that,
it could mean a couple of different things.
It's like, okay,
is it a member of the Sex Pistols? Well, that's something different.
But at the same time, if your 7-year-old is listening to this podcast and getting around the explicit stuff, either A, your kid's a little more advanced than 7 because they figured out how to get around it, or B, you kind of suck because you're letting them.
Well, and also let's circle back to number 1, because we might need to keep an eye on that kid to begin with, see where that kid's going.
So
I don't know.
Yeah, do you want to
talk? Because I had a hard time finding it on Spreaker, and blah, blah, blah. But
so do you want to?
I guess I'm basically a boomer at heart.
So that part about your dad, you want to talk about it?
Oh yeah, that was fun. Nobody I know is going to watch this show, so fine, whatever. Yeah, my dad was not the greatest role model, and so I always had a hard time. Basically, my parents divorced when I was 5 or 6 or somewhere in that neighborhood, and so I don't have a lot of good growing up fatherly things from him. My stepdad was awesome. So I mean, I totally lucked out on my second dad, yeah, he's the best. But
That's awesome. Not everybody gets to say that.
no, I know. And he was. I made him best man at my wedding, so it was like,
Aw.
that's how much I love that dude.
Yeah, I made my father best man in my wedding, so.
Yeah, good. Yay. Wait, which one? No.
I only have the one, and it was the milkman.
Oh. Okay. Anyway, so I had some daddy issues growing up, and I didn't want to try as I might. I might have progressed some of them onto my children, but I tried to I really stressed out early on, worrying about just I don't want to be this dude. So, I don't want to instill any of his. I just, God, how do I don't know. I thought about this earlier, and I was all eloquent in my brain, but then when it comes out to my mouth, it gets harder. But anyway, I wanted to be better. Let's just say, I wanted to be something that they could be proud of, and not, cringy. So, and that really preyed upon me, especially with the first kid.
Yeah. Now, one quote that I heard, and it came from Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, is you pass your demons onto your children.
Right.
That one hit me so hard.
No, that's definitely there. I didn't have those words, but I was trying not to do that for the first one. And it was I'm kind of a crappy dude, so maybe I did, but I tried not to.
Yes, so, I mean, the way I put it, and I've talked about it before, is I've always told my kids, that thing, you pass your demons on to your children. That's why I'm so busy facing my demons. To protect my children. I'm facing my demons and putting my children at my back to protect them and doing the best I can. Well, one of my best friends, also friend of the podcast, yay! He was talking to my 20-year-old, who will be 21 soon, and he said, it's really cool that your dad, tries to slay all these demons. And she went, really? Because I got a lot from him. And he was like, that sounds kind of hypocritical. And he came to me about that. I was like, look, I had too many demons. I can't slay them all. And I was a young dad. There was no way I could have slayed them all. But I've been going around slaying the biggest ones that I can, so that the ones that do get by are the smaller ones. And then hopefully for them, what was smaller for me are their biggest ones that they get to slay, and then pass, and then the smaller ones get on to their kids, and eventually we could purge the line, the family. I just want to be a better father to my kids than my dad was for me, and my dad was my best man. Just like he wanted to be a better father for his kids than his dad was for him, and he became a best man for it. And I want my kids to be better parents for their kids than I was for them.
Oh, God,
just to keep that going. Want that's a cycle that is worth having in a family. That's the right kind of cycle.
Yeah, it's like a
cycle of healing.
The kind of meme is break the cycle and stuff like that. It's like, make a better cycle. Don't break it, just make it better.
And Austin actually dropped in a couple of really good comments that are along these lines here. And I see C's getting ready to jump in and read them.
I can find them. Is it the one after?
It starts with, I tell my son.
Okay. I tell my son that it takes more strength to cry than to hold it in. Be proud of your bravery in being vulnerable and letting it out, because not everyone can.
And then the next one ties right into that.
That's deep.
Yeah.
The hardest thing was teaching him it was okay to cry by crying in front of him. It's not how I was raised, but it's up to you to break that part of the
Machismo. That's a fun word.
Machismo cycle.
Yeah, I've cried in front of my kids. My dad, he rarely cried in front of me. I am confident my dad never saw his dad cry. It's not that my dad hid it. It's just that, he was, like I posted once before on Facebook that, for his birthday, he was a man torn between two generations. Which, yes, a lot of people will say things negatively about the boomers, but the boomers did some pretty amazing things. And one of them was that my dad, one of them, is he was raised by the, hold it all in, pull yourself up by the bootstraps generation.
Oh yeah.
With a generation of his own kids' generation being it's okay to be emotionally open and vulnerable. And my dad trying to navigate between those two worlds, and I think he's done a fantastic job. There was no one to help him to learn how to be more like what our generation's like.
How old was your dad when he had you? Or was he like on the
Oh God, he was so young.
Yeah, okay, so he was like
22.
Really, really late boomer kind of thing, or early.
Yeah, he's kind of like I'm a late Gen X. He's a late boomer.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think we're the same age. I'm 44.
I'm 45.
I think yeah, you're right around the same age as me. Okay, so, and it's only another year or two till the end of our generation, and
then it was the millennials. Yeah.
Then it's millennials, which I've noticed with my brother are a completely different species. So I mean, it's weird.
Yeah, it's funny how fast we're able to change.
Right. But generations actually seem to have their own zeitgeist kind of thing. Their own, I don't know a better word than that, but and yeah, it's just a few, my brother's not that much younger than me. He's 7 or 8 years maybe. And I have friends that are kind of more on the cusp of either one of those things, but I don't know why that 1980 or whatever is
well, even 1980 wasn't really.
No, I'm just trying to trying to figure some sort of
Some people try saying, well, 1980 is where the millennials were born. Well, no, because everybody I know that was born in 1980, definitely not a millennial. They hold none of the millennial values.
No.
None.
No. Right. And even even a lot of the earlier millennials more relate to us than to the actual millennials. So I mean, there's a gray area, of course.
Yeah. But I just said a couple more things from your wife.
Yeah.
I really hope you jump into these things because holy shit, dude.
Okay. Maybe I should read some of these, actually.
I can read them out if you want, or you can do it.
No,
Your
go
choice.
ahead. All right, no, go ahead. It'd be more fun, actually, here.
All right, so
hearing my life read out.
So, from Jamie's wife. I remember Jamie standing in the kitchen one day in tears and saying that he wondered if he had something like postpartum depression. But he was also baffled. This was when Brooke Shields was bringing mainstream attention to it for the first time. Attention toward men was still a long way off. Mm-hmm. And I remember when that happened, I was like, what? That
early 2000s, mid 2000s. Yeah. It was nothing before that.
And then also said Jamie had a pretty crappy dad example. So he was really afraid of perpetuating that and had no guidance otherwise. He was navigating in the dark. And I think for anybody that's trying to break a cycle, that's exactly where you are. You're navigating in the dark.
I was, but I wasn't, because I had such an awesome stepdad.
Well, there you go. That's awesome.
Who really just filled in for a lot of the dad issues that it was like, okay, well, I'll try to emulate you. So, I mean, I feel like I really lucked out in that category there.
Nice. Yeah.
But there was still no training for dads.
No.
Later on from there.
No.
But at least I had one good role model.
For me, I mean, yeah, my dad and I, we had our issues, but he was my coach when I played baseball.
Yeah.
He was at every soccer game of mine. He taught me how to downhill ski. We went fishing together all the time. He was a big part of my life. And he made it clear to me that, well, it was actually my mom that really pointed it out first about, yeah, it's like, your grandfather is a real asshole and never did any of this shit. Like, never.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And your dad's doing the best he can, and he doesn't have anyone to teach him. So he's really trying to be the best dad that he can. And I mean, I was like 10, 11, 12 years old when my mom told me that. And that really changed the way I looked at my dad. Now, our teenage years were still rough because,
teenage years. Whatever.
Teenage years, yeah. But, yeah, my only role model that I have is my dad. And I'm taking I remember a lot of the things I said as a kid, like, when I have kids, I'm not going to do this. When I have kids, I'm going to do that. And I actually
let them eat ice cream every day.
Yeah. Well, I remembered a lot of that, and a good chunk of it, I was like, yeah, that ain't happening. But there was a fair amount where I went, you know what? That was actually valid, and I've incorporated that.
That's good. Yeah.
And I kind of pointed out to my kids, he was like, look, if you have those issues, like those, when you tell yourself you'll never do this when you have children, try to remember that. Because some of those are actual gemstones that are worth keeping. There's a lot in there that's crap, and you will see it when it's time. But there's a good chunk that is absolute gold.
I'm cognizant of when I need to say I'm sorry to my kids. Like, okay, I flew off the handle and I blew up and I yelled at you. I'm sorry. That was me.
That's a big thing. A lot of people can't do that.
It's kind of hard to do even, but I try, to make the effort to do it. I mean, like, I don't always do it because sometimes they're just being little shits and, I just want to, but, I try whenever I can.
Right. And us also said, growing up, I only saw my dad cry a couple times, and it was terrifying. Yeah, I remember the first time I saw my dad cry, it was terrifying. And he said, I thought whatever it was making him cry could destroy the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like a little kid, this person you're looking up to is like, is like, oh my God, what's making him cry? Oh, I can't face that.
Yeah. What's making my dad, who's fearless, scared?
Right.
What's making my dad, who never cries, cry?
Right.
Yeah. The first time I saw my dad ever cry was in my teenage years. Up until then, I never saw him cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw my dad cry. I wasn't quite a teenager yet, I don't think. 7th grade. We had to put my dog down. Doberman. And my parents put him down while I was at school. So I came home wanting to see him, knowing he's been suffering, knowing he's been having a hard time, and I've been trying to coddle him as much as I could because, damn it, that was my dog. And, and it's like, it's not a possessive thing. It's like, that's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
That's my
best friend.
That's my companion. That's my partner in crime. That's when I go romping around in the woods. That's who I'm bringing with me.
Right.
Right.
And I came home and he wasn't there. And then I was told that they put him down. And I remember I just threw myself on the couch, grabbed the couch cushion, put my arms around it, and I just started sobbing for the whole world. And that was the first.
Doing that right now.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw my dad cry, and I think that he was crying because that dog was really bonded to him. That dog was like his best friend too. Wherever my dad traveled, that dog was there.
And that's what a good time for a man to cry.
Yeah. So, and I think that
back in those days,
not only did he lose his really close companion dog, But he also saw how much pain it brought me, too, because I considered him just as much as my dog, because we were really tight.
Well, they become family members,
Yeah. Something else that was brought up by your wife? Jamie
yes.
only remembers him watching TV when he was still married to his mom.
Mm-hmm.
My dad with football games. That's why I only watch one game a week during the regular season.
I remember football games. He'd be laying on something or other and be like, "Hey, come, hang out with me." And I'd be like, "Okay, I guess."
Well, I got really into football, so I was okay with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, I want to go out and play football.
That was me, because we lived in the woods, and then I didn't want to watch, at the time it was like a some crappy black and white TV and all this stuff. It was like, hey, that's not very fun. So I'd rather just go run around and hit trees with sticks and throwing pine cones around and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I was like, okay,
or those
I'm gonna go outside and play now.
Or
I'll see you later.
Those little cedar tree seed pods, when they're still green, get a slingshot and fire them at things. You didn't have cedar trees, did you?
No, it was all ponderosa pines.
Ah, yeah, we had pines, cedars,
and juniper.
We had the Shasta fir trees. Only place in the world you'll find them. We had pines, we had cedars, and we had black oak, and we also had black walnuts. And chestnut, cherry trees, pear trees, plum trees. Yeah, we had a lot. Apple trees.
Ponderosa pine, juniper, sagebrush, and foxtails.
Oh God, foxtails. We also had wild blackberries. This place.
Nope.
So my hometown at one point,
cherries.
Didn't have those. My hometown at one point in time was known as Berryvale for a reason, and then it became known as Strawberry Valley for a reason. We made the mistake of planting strawberries one year. We had an acre of grass, is what I grew up on. I had an acre of grass and an acre of wilderness on my property. And then I'd cross the railroad tracks, and I was in several hundred acres of woods. Now,
that was me.
Yeah, we planted 3, maybe 4 strawberry plants. By the end of the first year, we lost a fifth of our yard to strawberries.
Everywhere the light touches, Simba.
Everywhere. Yeah. And the blackberries were just as aggressive. We also had the wild sweet peas, which I was always curious, can you eat them or not? Can you eat them or not? And I never got a clear answer, and I finally looked it up. Yeah, I would have died. So I'm glad I didn't.
So they could have named them wild poison peas, and probably would have been better.
Yeah, it really would have been better. Don't call them sweet peas. Call them dead peas.
Death peas. Murder peas.
Yeah. Emergency room peas. Because that's where you're going to be.
Toxic peas.
Diarrhea peas.
Oh.
That'll keep kids from reading them.
Yeah, but it's like with my dad, if it was baseball season, it was always baseball. It was always football. It was always basketball. We never watched, a hockey game here and there, but we weren't really hockey followers. NASCAR was big. We didn't watch a lot of Indy cars. Never watched Formula One. A lot of sitcoms, and of course, In Living Color when it was on, because Jesus Christ, that was the best sketch comedy ever. Sorry, SNL, you're not the best ever. You're good, but you've had a lot of really, really shitty years.
You got some catching up to do.
Yeah. In Living Color was genius from beginning to end.
The fireman, who's the...
Fire Marshal Bill.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Let me tell you something. And then, of course, Vera DeMilo. Jim Carrey had some of the best characters.
Oh yeah.
And of course, then
totally underrated show.
Oh yeah, Marlon Wayans. Was it Marlon? No, Damon Wayans.
It was both of the Wayans. There was a couple of Wayans there.
Oh, there was multiple Wayans.
There was at least 3, I think, at one point.
I think there were 3 Wayans brothers that were regular cast, with the 4th one being the DJ until he became regular cast.
Right.
Well, he was a DJ, and then they also had a sister that was in there. Yeah, the Wayans family, yeah. I mean, it was their show. Keenan Ivory Wayans was the one that created it. But Damon Wayans was the one that always had me in tears because he had Homie the Clown, you know?
Homie the Clown with his sock full of quarters or whatever.
And he'd beat the crap
Homie,
out of
don't
people.
play that.
Yeah, Homie, don't play that. Yep. Jamie Foxx got to start there. I mean, that was such an amazing series. So many
classics, yeah.
And then we also have here that your wife said the first time Jamie was gone with the first kid. Jamie was gone with work a lot.
You're finishing it. Okay, good.
Yeah. The baby wasn't very bonded with him, so he also didn't feel as connected to the source of stress, the baby.
It was hard. The first one was hard, yeah.
Yeah. The second time around, I nearly died in childbirth and was recovering from surgery. Jamie bonded intensely with the second baby. I think he had a clearer mission. Not so lost. He was the hero dude, taking care of me and the baby. So the second time, he didn't have the same problems. Well, that makes sense.
No, not at all. No, and for my daughter, it was just like, all right, it's you and me, But so it was just, and well, she took to the bottle better than the first one did too. So that made it way more easier for me to actually take over a role. You
kind of knew what to expect the second time.
Well, yeah, there was that too, but there was other circumstances involved that made it more me and her, because my wife was basically I think she was like doctor ordered stay in bed for 2 weeks, for some of that. I could be misremembering. She'll let me know if I am going off. But
you see, some of the old tropes are true about marriage.
Yeah, those become myths and things. Not myths, but stereotypes become stereotypes for a reason at certain times. So yeah, but she was actually doctor bedridden for a certain amount of time because it was a pretty scary time. And my daughter had certain other things that didn't come up with the first one, so I ended up having to take control a lot more on that one. Versus the first one, which didn't really want to do the bottle thing. And I'd be I don't need you, Dad. Kind of, my early 20-something brain is interpreting that as you don't need me, but you
right.
I just want to bond with you. But
and I will say
that's just dumb kid thinking. But I was better prepared the second time around, and other challenges came up which I was able to deal with a little better, which led to some better bonding with the second one.
And I will say that there's an old saying, daddy's girls, mama's boys. And there is a certain level of truth to that. Now, when it comes to my ex-wife, she had a son before we met. Mm-hmm. He and I actually bonded pretty intensely. And then when I had my little girl with her, oh man, did I bond intensely with that girl. And then the second time around, with my current wife, it was a girl then a boy. And I bonded very strongly with the girl. Both adorable,
by the way.
They aren't they? But
they
the boy and I are not as strongly bonded, and it's not that I'm not trying. Mm-hmm. He's just, no, I want mom. No, I want mom. No, I want mom. And that's fine.
Yeah. And it could be, just up to the kid too. You got to give them their own little, initiative. So.
And
that is the thing.
Your wife said about the whole thing you were saying at the beginning. Close enough. Honestly, I can't remember. Said you felt helpless with the first child, but totally in control with the second.
I did. I don't know. I was just better prepared all around, but she was kind of out of the picture for a lot of it because she was, it was pretty scary there for a little while. So, she'd do her pumping thing and stuff, and try to make as much milk as she can, and all that stuff. But like,
And I'm not even going to be ashamed to say it. Breast milk is amazing. You're fooling around with your now mother wife. She's a mother. She has milk, and yeah,
we just got done watching The Boys, and
that was creepy.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I mean,
pardon my not super enthusiastic, but like, okay, dude,
No, but I mean, it was actually one of my uncles. He's like, dude, breast milk and coffee is the best. He's like, I used to take a quarter ounce of my son's breast milk and pour it in my coffee every morning. I was like, Jesus, you thief. And then, when I became an adult, and I got to,
I have a certain memory of someone tricking me and handing me a cup of coffee. You know who you are. I think you're watching.
It wasn't me.
No,
oh, no, they can't see.
You.
Nobody can see.
Yeah. No.
They can listen.
Oh, they can listen. And they knew who they are.
Sounds like your wife.
I'm not naming names.
So, there are some comments that we have in here.
I have had some coffee with some breast milk in it, and it was okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but at the same time, it's not like we're doing the whole...
No, don't do it. All right, I'm gonna mute your picture.
Yeah, I was reenacting a breast milk scene from The Boys.
Don't do that. With a little tongue like that.
Yeah, the little.
Nom, 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 nom. But see, now I'm just imagining you doing that with your Coke juice, and it's not any better.
So now, when we were talking about seeing our parents cry for the first time, Jay. I said, I was also a teenager the first time I heard my dad cry. I was listening to him tell my mom the story of a railroad accident. Parentheses, he was a railroader. A homeless man was severed in half just above the hip. Between the details of hearing him cry for the first time, it was horrifying. And DeVerne said he's a rail fan, and he has known railroaders that have one of the hardest jobs for so many reasons, including those stories from trespassers. I can't imagine seeing something like that happen, Jay. It would be... well, not great. I have an uncle who also is a railroader, and he saw someone who was laying down and very much awake and cognizant of what they were doing, lay down with their neck on the rail.
Oh.
Yeah. You can't stop the train fast enough.
No.
And then Jay, yes, he saw lots of bad things, but that was the worst. The man survived, and he tried suing, so... the nightmare just went on.
What, that guy lived? I mean, I remember hearing about that. Jeez.
I mean, I guess with the amount of weight, you kind of get that, like a vacuum sealed.
Oh, you get it pressed together. Yeah. But I think once you get unpressed, then you and like you're done. Okay, well, good for him for living, I guess.
Yeah, and then Jay also said, I think we all are haunted by the first time we see a parent cry, especially a father.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I'm still reading through all these comments. Wow, the chat is just hopping tonight. And DeVerne was saying, my dad doesn't show emotion in the same way as others, and my Asperger's caused me to do the same. Though looking back, I had much more when I was younger. Long story short, I haven't cried in probably some bit around 2 decades. Yeah, that's a long time, dude.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, that's a lot of bottling things up, which is what I did for a long time, and it builds up.
It does.
Really.
Yeah, and I got when talking about when you're saying you know who you are for the breast milk, I have no idea what he's talking about. Nope. Yeah. Guilty.
Yeah. I mean, it was good coffee, but not the best I'd ever had. It got weird after I heard what was in it. After I drank half of it, it's like, hey.
Yeah, no, I mean, wow, we've covered a lot of different things on this. But yeah, we definitely hit a lot about the dad thing. I will say for me, with the second set of kids and me being in my 40s, I mean, my youngest is potty training currently, and I'm 45. Maybe it is male postpartum because, yeah, I've been pretty depressed through this whole thing. But I'm also just kind of been depressed my entire life, so it's really hard to tell if there's a difference.
No, I hear that too.
Yeah. You know, and it was one of those things. He was like, I remember this commercial so vividly. So there was two other friends and me. We were a really tightly knit unit. I'm just going to go with K, double E, and me. Just, they will know exactly who they are if they're listening. And there was this commercial, it was like a PSA commercial about, you know, are you suffering from depression? And it listed all the different symptoms of depression.
And you're like, oh.
Yeah, and at first I was like, I'm not depressed. All right, let's see what they have here. Yeah. Yes. Oh my God, every symptom? But I don't feel depressed. Well, that's the funny thing. I don't know what it felt like to not be depressed. So,
because that's life.
Yeah. So how could I go, you know, I feel depressed today? Because, no, I feel like every day today. And then I remember I was sitting it was in my physical science class. We actually had a little, like there was a closet that was made specifically as a little computer lab. It had a couple of Mac Quadra 800s. They were supposedly the Apple's second fastest computers, but they were actually faster than the Mac Quadra 950s at the time, which were supposedly the fastest. How they got it backwards like that, it was marketing. But
yeah,
we were playing on those, and my friend Kay was like, hey, so I saw this commercial the other night about depression, and I was laughing at it going, no, I'm not depressed. And then it listed the symptoms, and I got all of them. And I remember that because this is what really solidified the memories, because I'm like, holy shit, so did I.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're just like...
talking to you about that? That's awesome.
Yeah, and we're both like, but are we actually depressed? We go out, we have fun. We do shit.
That's what you do
But are we depressed?
walk out the depression.
Turns out, yeah, we were. Still are.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
All right, C, what do you got?
No, just hearing. Yeah.
You didn't have anybody to talk about it.
That.
You didn't have anybody to talk about it, did you?
Huh?
You didn't have anybody that would like, hey, I'm depressed too.
No, not at all. In fact, actually, though, growing up, I did know my dad was on quote unquote happy pills, but I didn't know what the fuck that meant. You know? Mom was just like
Prozac or Paxil. I'm just because at the time that's pretty much all there was. Prozac or Paxil.
Oh God. And both of them are terrible.
Yeah. She would say like he's not on his happy pills right now. He needs to take them. And they actually gave him a pen pill with a smiley face on it.
Wow.
For him to remember.
My grandmother was on Prozac.
Yeah, I think it is Prozac.
I was on Paxil. Let me tell you about Paxil. For me, it was extraordinarily bad. But that's for me. Again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just sharing my experience. If you are looking at possibly getting medicated, go seek a professional and let them help you. The meds have come a long way since that was 2002 when I was on Paxil.
Early to mid 2000s.
Yeah, we've come a long way with understanding. A lot of different meds are a little more refined.
The new ones are great. Having just got on them. Well, I actually get to feel happy. So
Yeah, no. Like I said, I'm on Cymbalta now, which is the generic is duloxetine. It's been working great for me for the most part. I've been having a bit of a struggle the last few weeks, but there's been a lot of shit just going on in general.
Sometimes shit sucks, and it's like it's not medication or anything. It was like, yeah,
Yeah.
life.
But I mean, I went through a lot of meds. Like we've talked about this before. Like Bexy got lucky. First med she got was the right one, and like,
Yay!
I'm so happy for her,
man.
but I kind of hate her for it too.
I'm jealous.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
hate me too.
jealous.
You can hate me because I found the guy who was like, hey, I think you should try this, and he gave me these little teeny little pink things, and it was just like, wow.
Again,
That little voice in the back of my head that's always talking to me, he's not talking shit anymore. He's like, we can just.
the one that always says you're garbage, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You deserve what's happening to you.
Oh, you've met him?
Oh yeah, he's
I
a
know
regular.
him.
I know him quite well.
He's a dick. But he was a dick. But now
I call him Dickie Do Nothing because that's all he made me do. And he was
no.
a dick.
But we're like totally cool now. We're like bros. Like I can go all day without like having to like listen to like podcasts or audiobooks or something, so I don't have to hear him. Now I can just like
Wow. Yeah, again, like I said, I'm so happy for you that you didn't have to experience what it's like to get on a wrong med. Like, seriously, I'm so happy for you that you got to avoid that. But at the same time, I kind of fucking hate you, too.
I know a guy that was on Paxil that
I emotionally flatlined. I felt nothing.
He got
I
institutionalized.
never took it.
He was in the, he was locked up for 3 to 6 months, I think. And he actually got a bunch of money from the class action.
I was on Paxil for a year and a half. I didn't even know there was a class action. Because after I got off of it, I wound up being institutionalized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was locked up, with all that stuff, and it was not great. But
and Jay just went ahead and just gave him up their identity in the chat. But okay, that happens.
And he didn't know anything about it either. But his mom heard about it, so she signed him up for the class action thing, and like all of a sudden he's like, hey, I got enough to buy a new truck. So it's like,
damn, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I know, right?
Jay was saying, yes, lucky streaks freak me out when they crash it. They crash and burn in the worst ways. So lucky, in quotes, feels more like a ticking time bomb.
Oh, no, there's no lucky.
Sometimes, and then also just feel happy for me that he lucked out the first time. And I'm like, seriously, I know how bad I am on the wrong med. I have never seen a significant other on a wrong med. Thankfully.
Oh God, that would be a nightmare.
Yeah, my wife, she has a med that she discovered, that works for her, like, before we met. And it's one that, for me, it's the worst of them all, Effexor. Again, for her, it's the perfect one. Yeah.
What makes us is just this weird, little meat bag that's making all sorts of weird chemicals, and there we are. So I'm like,
I do not want to dive into philosophy right now.
No. We can, but it's like everybody's little meat bag is different, and so she found a good one for her, and like the meat cells, we're all happy, and so yay, and it was like same thing for me. I was like, I get to be happy for.
C's face right now is
great,
like classic. I hope you stay a co-host forever, C. Seriously.
Hey, at least I can amuse you with my silent facial expressions.
Right. If we ever decided to go video podcast, they would absolutely probably love it too. No, that's you, Jamie.
I mean, the Muppets had, Waldorf and Statler. You can just
but they were the best parts of the Muppets.
Yeah, I know, right?
Seriously. There was a picture that I saw that it said, this is going to be us when we're retired. And I sent it to my friend Philippe. It was Waldorf and Statler trolling on a computer. And they're just sitting there laughing at the screen. I was like, yo, to my he was my best man at my second wedding. this is going to be us. And he's like, oh, totally.
That's what I consider a good time now, so why not?
And then Jay just said, I waste luck too. I cannot be trusted with luck. And then DeVern said that it's nice to know that he is not alone. It's one thing for people to tell you it'll be okay, but it's another when someone like you really is in the same spot. And Jay, yeah, I'd rather have someone just understand, with stars around it, than try to make me feel better with questionable promises. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't need someone to understand my exact situation because odds are they were never in my exact situation. But if they can understand the struggle, that's amazing.
Right.
Or even if they don't even have to understand the struggle, if they make an effort to try, that is amazing.
My problem is always I'm like trying to make things better instead of just like being there. So it's kind of something that I'm working on is like, oh, how can I help? You know, instead of just like, all right, it sucks. You know, I got you, kind of thing. So I don't know, something I'm working on.
So DeVern just said all promises are lies. So I had to throw out the paradoxical statement. I promise that this is a lie.
Oh,
It's a paradoxical statement.
somebody divided by zero, and we all get sucked into the the singularity now because
Yeah, I was going to say, because that's how black holes exist. That's because God divided by zero. Poof, black hole.
Mm-hmm.
One time I was on my calculator for some reason, like I opened it, and it was -0.
What?
I don't
You're
know
still
how
alive?
it happened,
Oh, you cleared
but
it really
it was
quick.
negative. No, I just stared at it and I took a screenshot because I was in disbelief. Like, how did I get -0? I don't know how it came up.
I'm amazed you're still alive. It's amazing. Yeah.
I'm surprised my phone didn't explode.
Right.
Whew. That's like an imaginary number right there.
Right? I was never taught that in school.
The square root of -1. Yeah, I saw one. It was great. It was a math meme where it had like the square root of -1 and an I. One's all telling like the square root of -1 is all get real. The other one's saying the I is saying get rational.
Yeah.
Because one's
Yeah,
irrational, the other
before.
one's imaginary.
Right. Math jokes.
Well, okay, so I do have one point of contention, and it was introduced with calculus, which is, that whole thing of it's usually posed as a football thing because it's easy to picture. If you keep getting penalized half the distance to the goal, do you ever actually reach the goal?
No.
In calculus, the answer is if you go far enough, yes. But I'm like, no, you could get infinitesimally close.
You're
but you're never going to touch it. Yeah, I'm like, you could get infinitesimally close, but you'll never actually reach there. But there is in calculus some I don't.
No,
I haven't taken a calculus class, so I don't understand it exactly.
All
I
right.
was advanced math, but I didn't actually go that far.
Right.
Is that
So,
eventually it becomes this? It's essentially the same as 0.
All right. Well, what I'm going to say to the math dorks out there is like, welcome to real life. You're going to run out of time before that happens. So, no.
Kind of like finding the end of pi.
Right. Just go on as far as you want and then just call it good. You're not going to get all the pie. No one gets all the pie. Sorry.
One of my favorite things ever was a cake shaped like the mathematic pi. It's just like, wait, is it cake or pie?
Did it have some sort of filling?
Yes.
Oh,
Like it was a multi-layered cake that was shaped like the scientific or the mathematical symbol pi.
But is multi-layered the same as filled?
If it's 2 layers and it has a filling, that could also be like the same as 2 crusts with the filling.
Could be.
Because technically crust is also a flour-based product.
I don't know. We are getting off into philosophical territory now.
Yeah, but we're getting off into the goofy philosophical stuff, which is fun.
I think I need to go get another fake beer. Not beer.
Are they good?
You don't like IPAs, so no.
No, I'm talking. Do you find them good?
Yes, I quite
Awesome.
enjoy them.
That's awesome.
So I will be back in 30 seconds.
All right. Now a word from our sponsor. We don't have any, and we won't. Yeah. And it looks like our discussion or chat has gone into indie rock. Yeah, our chat room has just as many tangents, if not worse, than the actual podcast itself. So that's always fun. And I mean that like literally. It is actually fun. It's really fun reading the shit that's going on. But sometimes it's really hard when you're having a serious discussion with someone and someone drops like the mother of all jokes in the chat. Is you're trying so hard not to laugh. And plus that we use video between like me and the guest and the co-host. So try to keep a straight face too while reading like the mother of all jokes. It is really hard. We got a question from my cousin who just chatted me because he's on the road. He can't really join the chat. Oh, here comes Jamie. I'm going to ask the question for you, Mike.
What?
So one of my cousins...
Let me get my ear plugged in. What are you talking about?
One of my cousins asked, what is fake beer? Now, you got to... He's sober.
Less than half of a percent.
So what is it that you're enjoying? I
am enjoying a athletic brewing company, Run Wild IPA.
Does the athletic brewing company do all the not quite beer?
Not all of them, no.
I mean, not all of them, but I mean, is that like all they do? Or do they actually have some real beers?
I think they have actual real beer, too.
Okay. I mean, honestly, that's a market that it started out...
It's what showed up when I was looking for them, so...
Yeah. Like, it started out with... Like, the first one, I think, was Near Beer.
Oh, Near Beer. I forget who made Near Beer, though.
Yeah, and then after that, you had Coors...
Like, they're all considered Near Beers now, so it's like the Kleenex of, tissues kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. But then after that, you had like Coors Cutter, and then you had Budweiser had one. I can't remember the name.
Budweiser has one now. I was looking into that, and then there's some like
Miller had one. And now you're starting to see tons of O'Doul's.
O'Doul's is like the classic.
Yeah, O'Doul's and Cutter came out at the same time.
Right.
O'Doul's is still here.
Gone, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw O'Doul's the other day. I was like, should I buy some?
Yeah, I mean, they also have Heineken, non-alcoholic Heineken.
Yeah, Heineken ones has...
If you like Heineken, you can... It doesn't taste quite the same, but it's pretty damn close. Like, if you're not really thinking about it and you're just sipping at it while you're doing something else, you wouldn't really tell the difference.
Right.
Except for the fact that you won't get a buzz.
Right, because this is just like a tasty IPA for me, and they're like, okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, if it's got...
But like, Budweiser has one now that's like I don't know. I almost bought it the other day. I'll probably buy it next time I'm over.
I mean, wasn't Budweiser almost water to begin with? I'm playing...
I'm thinking of Rolling Rock, but okay.
I'm playing because honestly, and this is gonna... I've talked about it before, but I'm gonna say it again. This is gonna blow some people's minds. Budweiser. When I actually went to what was called beer school at SeaWorld.
Beer school?
Yeah. Not like brewing school. It's a little like 1 hour class thing so a lot of people don't realize SeaWorld is owned by Anheuser-Busch. There you go.
That's how they keep all the animals subdued.
There you go. Anyway, they actually have a brewery on site. Not a commercial brewery, just a small brewery. And if you're an adult, of legal drinking age, and you have your ID, all you have to do is show up to the guest relations area and say that you want to sign up for beer school. It's free. And then you show up at the right time and you sit down, and the first thing they do is they pour 2 beers in front of you. One of it is really kind of a clear golden yellow, Has a good amount of bubbles going on it, not a lot of head on it. And then you have another one that's that dark yellow, almost piss-looking, with the thick head that I normally associate with Budweiser. And they both came out of Budweiser bottles.
Oh.
When I tasted, like, the first one had a nice crisp smell to it, and the other one was really skunky. So when I tasted the really skunky, thick head, dark yellow one, I was like, bleh! Yep, that's Budweiser. Then I tasted the other one. It was the best lager I've ever tasted in my life.
And it was probably also Budweiser.
It was also Budweiser. The difference being, the one that tasted like crap had been sitting in an oven at 100 degrees for a week.
Oh, Jesus.
The other one was also the same age, brewed it was from the same batch, but they kept it refrigerated.
But treated nicely.
Right. And as they say, if you get a beer that's skunky, has a thick head and dark color and all that, that's a beer that has gone rotten. It is a spoiled beer, but there's no laws against selling spoiled, rotten beer.
That's true.
And that's the problem. Like, if you get a Budweiser and it looks like that, that means that from the time we delivered it in our refrigerated trucks to the time you bought it, it had sat somewhere warm and it's spoiled.
But we also live under capitalism, so, like, not a lot of people are going to buy beer number A or, you know, your bullshit skunk beer because they'll be like, "Wow, God, this is terrible." You know,
right? And I mean,
buy this again.
The main point that they were trying to do was try to get people to understand that if you're getting Budweisers that are nasty, as opposed to fucking amazing, and I mean, to this day, still, it is the best lager I've ever tasted.
Wow.
They're trying to get that pressure out there to get stores to stop leaving.
You're like, you need to make them treat your beers better.
Keep them refrigerated. Stop setting them out on the floors and putting big piles and stacking them up. Stop keeping them in coolers that are shut off and they're warm. Stop keeping them in your regular stock room. Keep them refrigerated because they do spoil. And it's true. Yeah.
Don't just have them in like a cargo container out in the back, you know, that will get out every, you know, we're like, I guess we're out of beers. Go get some more out of the, you know, the freaking Q container out there. So
yeah, and actually my cousin just posted a picture. He has the Heineken 0.0% alcohol-free 96-calorie 12-pack, the Heinekens. I was like, yeah, I'd drink that with you.
I mean, I brought a couple of these when we were hanging out before, you know. I just cracked one open when everyone else is having beers. And
yeah,
I still had regular beers too, but, you know, I was like, I want more, but so I'll just have a regular, you know, I'll have a not beer. So, whatever.
Oh,
it's like beer for me.
And the wife just told me to tell you. I don't know why I'm playing telephone here.
She's in a different room.
Need to bottle the mead.
I was thinking about that.
Okay,
2 minutes ago.
Honey mead.
Yes.
Can you bring me some? I've never had it.
Yeah, we'll make you a bottle. Sure.
Yes.
We've been putting off the whole bottling for, well, probably about a year, but at least 6 months where we were actually like talking about, we need to bottle this, and like, okay, we need to bottle this.
You know that
later.
Mead is probably the easiest of all alcohols that you can make, other than just put some fruit in a barrel and let it ferment and then just drink that straight.
My parents tried some and it failed.
Yeah. I said it's the easiest. I didn't say that it was fail-proof.
Yeah, I know. So,
like a kombucha, it's really easy to make, but it's also just really a bunch of like fail.
Isn't that just like a bunch of leaves and stuff crammed into like
some
sort of like bucket and like, you know, like I'll just cut up some old. I got these old mushrooms laying around. I'll just throw them there. And like, here's an old baby diaper, you know, and put it there and like push it around.
No, so kombucha.
That's the flavor of kombucha that I've ever had. So, you know.
Well, kombucha, the flavor of kombucha can change based on how you make it, but there's a what's called the mother culture, which you need to have in order to make it yourself. And it's kind of like have you ever had
people with friendship bread?
Yes, it's very much like friendship bread, but instead of making the bread and giving away some, you make the kombucha and you give away some of the mother culture to some other people so they can make their own.
Some other people.
Really easy to fuck up. Ask me how I know.
Did you fuck it up?
I killed the mother culture. That's how bad I fucked it up. So you see what happened? So what it is that the mother culture eats the... What was it? It eats
the young, like spiders.
No. It's you put in sugar and yeast, I think, together. And what happens is like the yeast eats the sugar, making the alcohol. Then the mother thing eats the alcohol, making the kombucha.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
It's all monstrous.
Fun fact: fruit flies, probably the only animal alive that can metabolize pure alcohol as a positive thing. That's all they eat. They're not eating the fruit; they're eating the fermented part, which is the alcohol part.
How many paratroopers have you known?
Eventually, it'll kill them. So, I mean, cirrhosis of the liver is a real thing.
I know a lot of them that are still alive, amazingly.
But no, fruit flies cannot eat anything else. They can only consume fruit alcohols. Or alcohols in general.
That sounds like a kind of dead end.
So a fly can outdrink you?
A fruit fly can. It will drink, like, if you drank as much compared to its weight in alcohol, you'd fucking die of alcohol poisoning in day one.
I've never been really shamed by someone that could outdrink me.
Never really mattered to me. They're like, I could outdrink you. I'm like, okay, so it costs you more to get drunk.
Because, well, usually I'd be like, okay, I'm done. And they'll just keep going. And I'm like, all right, you know.
DeVern, you're such a mother culture. I don't think that's a bad thing. Oh, so you guys use champagne yeast. Cool. For your mead?
Oh. Yeah, I think we did. Oh, well. The beer meister is probably, chiming in here, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing we did.
Oh, yeah, she definitely made a point of it. I still love the picture I have for her profile picture. I have not seen a more embarrassing photo of her yet.
No, it's pretty amazing.
It really
I've seen
is. It's awesome.
No, it's beautiful.
And I mean, actually, what's funny is that leading up to this episode, one thing I was talking about with one of my coworkers is the fear of, and he agreed too. He's like, "Yeah, I kind of had that same thing." About you go to work, you know that your wife's suffering, and you fear finding your whole family dead.
It's actually a fear,
Yeah, it's a very real fear when you have like a new mother, especially if they're like showing the signs of deep postpartum, like they're getting borderline postpartum psychosis. Yeah, that becomes a real fear.
Yeah, no,
there's a reason why with both of my wives, after having a kid, I kept a constant dialogue with them for the first 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't so much I was sure they're going to be fine. Obviously, my ex-wife, she already had a kid, and she did that as a single mom. That is fucking hard. And this time, she actually had the support system, in me, being married and having a steady income and all that good stuff that comes with that. I was sure that she would be okay, but it was that little nagging voice in the back of my head that wouldn't let it go away. So it was for my own, voice. Yeah. So it was for my own good to keep in constant contact and chat. And that was back when it, cell phones were not ubiquitous, and if you had them, they charged a butthole load of money for every text. It's that was 15 cents for one text. That adds up fast. You're like, oh, it's only 15 cents a text. Yeah. Yeah. 1 month of texting later. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. You do it 30 times a day. Then what?
Yeah. Yeah. It adds up real fast.
Yeah.
And then with my current wife, cell phones were ubiquitous. There's no longer this thing of unlimited calling on, weekends and evenings. It was unlimited phone calls.
And
unlimited text.
I get 1,000 texts a month where, whatever.
No biggie. Yeah, so we just kept constantly texting each other. And again, it was with the first kid, I didn't know where she was going to go because she's never had a kid before.
Right.
And the second time, I was pretty sure she was going to be okay. But again, it's that whole, I needed to make sure my family was still okay. I needed to know my family was safe.
No, that's definitely fair.
Yeah.
And like for my position at the young kid stage, it was like, well, when my daughter was born, it was like I was spending at least one night away from home a week, and then, well, every other week, and then the other every other week was 2 nights away from home. So that sucked. And
Yeah. Oh,
you know, there was the worries there. I was never like really worried about her doing something bad. But
it's okay. You can tell the truth just because she's listening.
No, I am.
No, I believe you. I seriously do believe you.
No, I was never really worried, but the worry was always there, of course. But like, I never really thought of it as like a serious worry. But at the time, I'm like, I worried about all kinds of crazy, stupid shit. So,
like I said, for me,
it was just another thing on the heap of all my worries.
Again, for me, I knew that if I let it sit, it would fester.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
just going to keep this little worry under control by going, look, see, nothing to worry about. So shut up.
Good on you for being communicative. And like we tried to be communicative, and we try to call each other, like, at least once a day, and send random little. I don't know if we were really texting so much then, but we'd try to talk for a couple minutes, like hi, or something like that. But there's. You worry,
right?
You just worry. It's like as a human, you just randomly worry about stuff.
I mean, yeah, I'm just glad that if I did suffer male postpartum, I don't know. I don't think I did. Again, always depressed. I just am. It's just my life.
There's that.
I don't think it magnified any. Honestly, I think for me, honestly, I would have to talk to my ex and have to talk to my current wife and be like, did I change? Did I become worse? Mm-hmm. Because I don't know. Again, too close to the forest to see the trees.
Yeah. Whereas like, Jay has chimed in here from here and there where, the things that I even forgot. Maybe just because I didn't want to remember stuff. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No, there's a whole period of my life that I've pretty much blocked out. That was between when my ex-wife and I separated and me getting together with my current wife. That whole middle area, ooh.
Oh,
I was bad. I was bad.
No, I get it. I mean, I was like, no, I've gone through years of being bad. So, yeah, I totally get that. And then you don't want to remember the bad stuff, so you try to block it out. It's like you don't want to remember, all the bullshit. You're just like, I'm just gonna forget about that. La la la. I'm just gonna move on.
Good night, Devern.
It creeps up on you though. When you're trying to sleep or whatever.
Yeah.
You can never block it out entirely.
Oh God, that is the worst. You're like, okay, I'm exhausted. It's time to go to sleep. And then the brain's all, hey, do you remember this thing to worry about?
Oh,
douchebag brain.
Remember when you were stupid in 7th grade? And then there's like way more serious stuff that, you really tried to bury down. It was like, no. Oh, I remember you, so.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember when you said that?
Right. Oh, yeah. Look, I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah, actually, that's a discussion I've been having with my kids lately. Mm-hmm. Because it's that whole thing of, like, every day. I get this from the youngest one every day. You're the best daddy ever.
Oh.
An hour later, you're the worst daddy ever!
Oh.
And yeah, I'm like, and I won't even flat out tell him, yeah, but I still love you. And it would piss him off, but I'm like, for me, it's important that he understands that.
That's good. That's good. I've done that too.
Well, yesterday I wanted to really highlight that words can hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, I don't think he gets it.
Right.
So he was mad at me for, God, I can't even remember what he was mad about. I was just trying to get him dressed and out the door.
It's probably mad. You're mad because you made him put on pants and socks and shoes.
Well, he was mad at me, and he told me that I don't want to see you. Go away. I'm like, you don't want to see me? He's like, no, I don't want to see you ever again.
I'm like, oh, really?
And I went, okay, well, here's an opportunity to show that words hurt. I said, okay. He's like,
bye.
Good. I'm like, okay, so when we leave, when I drop you off at daycare, it's going to be the very last time that I ever say goodbye to you, the very last time I ever hug you, very last time I ever give you a kiss, and you'll never see me again. I'll just leave. That's what you want.
Remember, I'm blowing kisses and waving goodbye to
God.
you. And that's what you're going to remember.
He wouldn't let me out the door because he... And then I was like, look, I'm not really going to leave. I have no plans on leaving. I want you to understand that words hurt. And when you're angry, you say things that you don't mean. Am I really the worst dad ever? No. Right. So why do you say it when you're angry? That hurts. It makes me want to cry. It hurts me. I mean, not really. I'm used to it, He's the fifth kid. I'm used to it.
Yes, I've heard it all before.
But it was just to try to teach him words hurt.
Words matter.
Yeah, words matter. I'm not trying to do the whole thing of words are violence. No, I don't think they are.
No. Violence is violence and words are words.
Right. But
there's a difference.
I could tell you that I don't lay awake at night over being spanked by one of my parents as much as I lay awake overnight over one of the things that they said when I was a kid.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, you see? Words can be pretty damn damaging.
Yeah.
And I told him that, afterwards. And then when I picked him up from preschool, I was like, see, I told you I was not really leaving. And he was pretty happy about that. And I was like, look, for both of you, I need you to understand. When you're angry, the best thing you could do before saying something mean, don't say anything. Because it hurts. And I see you guys hurting each other all the time. You both hurt each other with your words all the time. And all it does is make you guys angrier and cry more. Do you hate each other? No. Both of them. I'm like, do you love each other? Yes. Are you two best friends? Yes. Then why do you treat each other so mean? They've been behaving better today anyway. I don't know if this is going to be a long-term thing. Well, it's only the next day. I don't know if it's going to be a long-term thing, but I really hope it does. I hope it gives them pause. More than anything. And again, I mean, I'm asking a lot of a almost 7-year-old and a 4.5-year-old. I really am asking a lot, but I don't think that it's ever too soon to start trying to plant these seeds.
It is interesting. Because, it was like when me and my wife were going through some pretty heavy shit, the kids actually bonded together really well. And I was really surprised. And it was like happy surprise, not the usual like, oh my God, surprise. But it was actually they're kind of like friends.
So my sister and I, we don't see each other very often, but honestly, she is one of my best friends now. Oh God, you would not have thought it watching us grow up.
Yeah, right.
My two older ones from my last marriage. Again, I know I keep mentioning a pair of two from the first marriage, a pair of two from this marriage, and I also have 5 kids. Yeah, well, I had a kid as a teenager who I adopted.
As one does.
That I adopted out to the mother's husband, but has since had a little change of life situation, and she's back in my life.
Yay.
Now,
well,
did I raise her?
Yay.
No.
No.
I am her father. Am I her dad? I don't know. That's up to her to decide.
Yeah, that's.
But I'm here,
different,
and I'm trying. And I'm trying. I'm available, and I try to reach out when I can. But yeah. So there was something I was saying about the older parent. Oh yeah, now, like there's a 6-year difference between the two of them. And they were pretty much thick as thieves at first, but then the older one felt that he had to protect the younger one from us, meaning me and my ex-wife when we got divorced. Because we both were pretty bitter and toxic for a little bit there. And unfortunately, when you're bitter and toxic, even as when you try your best to protect it from your kids, the shit rubs off.
It blows. It seeps over. You know,
it
you
does.
can't hide everything.
Exactly.
And,
but now,
yeah,
honestly, they see each other more often than I see either of them.
Good for them.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. I'm really happy.
If you can do that as a parent, you mean like, okay, good bonding. If I could do one thing right, then okay, at least I did that.
Exactly. And my two littlest ones, like I said, I mean, they're thick as thieves, and they have actually been able to successfully prank me. And I've seen almost everything, and these two kids are coming up with shit I ain't never seen before. And I am almost scared what they're going to do when they're teenagers, if they're still thick as thieves. I kind of want to put a wedge between them before then. Yeah, I'm not going to, but goddamn.
And they also have access to the internet, so you're doomed, is basically what I have to say to you.
Yeah, they can pull off that whole Bane thing of, you just adopted yourself to the internet. I was actually raised in the internet.
I was born here.
Yeah.
C
is just choking.
No, I'm smoking.
That's what I said.
There's a difference.
If you're smoking, you're choking.
You said choking.
Yeah, if you're smoking, you're choking. If you're choking off of that, then it's probably your token. If you're choking because you're token, that's the kind of smoking that I support.
So long as you're happy.
Exactly.
If it makes you happy.
Yeah.
So, Oz, if you're still listening, I want you on soon for the microdosing thing. Please reach out to me. I'll reach out to you again as well. We do have some openings coming up. We actually have next week scheduled, which is yay. And then we only have let's see. This is the 6 episodes. The last episode is the 12th of May. Then we're going to take a small break before we go into the summer episodes. Yeah, I actually would like to try to get the entire season booked like we used to do. I don't worry so much anymore about not having a full season scheduled out because we find guests. It happens, And guests cancel and stuff.
A lot more fun than I was expecting. Actually,
from what I've been told, even by other people that, I've had people on that have done other podcasts, and one that runs their own podcast said this one is really fun. It's serious but fun.
Well, that's good. Good. Well, I was a podcast virgin up until you, Eric.
That gets on the chart. Other drops my name.
Sorry about that.
No, don't worry about it. Bexy's in the chat. Bexy and I had a discussion. So, Bexy, do you want to talk about it now? Or do you want to wait until you actually have your voice? Yeah, Oz was saying that we'll make it happen. I got to make sure I could get time off work because I work 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Friday. All right, Bexy, not yet. That's fine. We have something. There's a coming announcement. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, no kidding, Jay's I'm way worse about name dropping with E. Yeah. Every goddamn time.
Oh yeah, she is. She's terrible.
Oh, she's awful with it. I mean,
I was listening to that one. It was like, oh god. It was like, I think that was my only one, wasn't it?
Well, she name dropped me in both episodes that she's been in.
Okay,
but the first one was 3 times.
Yeah, I was I think I only did it once.
So I
was trying to be cognizant of just saying E or just not saying anything at all.
Well, I mean, if you also are looking, I have my name as just E on the Zoom.
Way bear in a little teeny corner. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just got a message from my cousin, the one that was with the zero alcohol Heineken. His first time listening to this podcast, says, I'm digging it. Very interesting. Well, thanks.
Yay.
Yeah, this is my passion. This has become my passion.
This is fun.
Yeah,
Bexy said not yet.
About...
She said
yeah. With the announcement, yeah.
Yeah.
Bexy also said, last episode is mine. I need to fix the booking. I put it for the 5th, not the 12th. Yes, you do. And also, I was the world's worst name dropper. She was. She really was. Her first season as co-host, it was awful for name dropping. And then the next season, flawless.
Excellent.
I became worse. But I mean, when you're flawless, one name drop is worse. That's a real high bar. You can't surpass it.
Well, I was like, just use my regular name. I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah, some people are like that. They don't really care, and others are so worried about what they are talking about might be heard by somebody that they know, and it could cause backlash. And that's why we're okay with pseudonyms. That's why we're okay with it being audio only. That's why we're okay with you not even turning on your video if you don't want us to see you. That's totally fine.
You can still have a good conversation, without actually seeing someone. Or maybe I had bandwidth issues, and
exactly.
You can have my audio.
Oh, there's been a few times where the bandwidth was bad enough where it's like, okay, we all turn off our cameras. Okay, now we're good.
Mm-hmm.
It happens.
That's a podcast thing. It's been a podcast thing for since podcasts were podcasts. So sometimes you gotta make sacrifices.
Right. Okay. So we have for just this season, we only have 2 dates open, which are April 28th and May 5th. We haven't quite decided when, how long our break's going to be. That's actually a discussion that's coming up very soon between us. And when we're going to set out next season, book out all, block off all the dates, but we'll have every date open at that point. So yeah, definitely, if you're looking at getting in this season, yeah, we have the 28th and the 5th. If you want the Cinco de Mayo, yeah.
You better bring your tacos.
And the tequila. Man, I'm in California, man. I want my tequila. And I want my tacos. I like my fish tacos. Oh, God, those are the best. And I love when people are like, fish tacos? Ew. It's like, yeah, well, you're thinking of traditional taco toppings and sauces with fish. I'm thinking this is a fish taco with very specific sauces and toppings that go with fish.
Made for fish.
Yes.
Fish tacos. Not tacos with fish in them.
Yeah, no, it's fish and typically cabbage and this amazing white sauce, and that's about it. And a little bit of lime, yes. Squeeze the lime on. Oh my God.
God, now I want fish tacos.
All right, Austin, we'll go ahead and get on the phone and do that. Even Jay, fish tacos. Yeah, it's like people are like, that's definitely a California thing. Well, no, actually, it's a Baja California thing that crept up into California. Because they were super popular. I mean, it was...
it doesn't take much to creep over into San Diego.
No.
And move up.
Exactly. And it was Ralph Rubio who used to spend all of his free time that he had down surfing in Baja California, and he fell in love with the fish tacos down there, so that he created Rubio's Baja Grill and brought fish tacos to California and started in San Diego, and now the whole West Coast has them.
Can we put the lime in the coconut?
Why do I know that?
Put the lime in the coconut, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. The song.
Yeah, I know the song, but I don't know this. It's like I'm trying for the song.
From they had it on a Tarantino film, too. So, Reservoir Dogs or...
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
And also said Irish whiskey for me. I can go for some of that. Of course, I have a ton of alcoholics in my family, and I've discovered that for me, it's basically, hey, you want some alcohol? Yes. What will you drink? Yes. Except that I can't drink like Smirnoff Ice or any of those fruity ones. I get heartburn really bad.
Oh, me too.
The only one I
ones
liked,
like
the only-
the hard lemonades and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, instant heartburn.
ugh.
Oh,
But I could do margaritas. I could do daiquiris. I prefer margaritas, but I could do mojitos all day. I love mojitos.
yeah, but those like lemon ices and
Yeah.
hard things and like that's just
The one-
like two. I'll just have two and I was like, just give me some Tums and I'm done.
The one Smirnoff Ice that I actually really liked and didn't give me heartburn was Triple Black, but they don't make it anymore.
Do they even still make Smirnoff Ice?
Yeah, you can still get it.
No, I don't know.
My local liquor store has it. I have to get it for my wife because she likes the fruity stuff.
It's fair.
Bexy's all, it's Practical Magic. Midnight Margaritas. She's like, I love that movie. Bexy, Jay, you are my people. Us brother bought a coconut. He bought it for a dime. His sister had another. She paid it for a lime. She put the lime in the coconut. She drank a...
Come on, you got to sing it.
If I don't know the song, how am I supposed to sing it?
Oh, God.
I recognize the lyrics, but I don't know the music in my head.
Okay.
Yep. Also, my Google Foo is strong. Yeah, actually with Google, sometimes your Google Foo has to be miraculous to keep up with what DuckDuckGo does easy. just saying.
Depends on what you're looking up.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Okay, now one of my cousins is trying to make me sick by dropping the word Zima.
I like Zima.
It had to stay very fucking cold.
No, Zima's good. I like Zima.
Warm Zimas are disgusting. And they came
out
out with
warm things are bad.
And they came out with Zima Gold. Ice cold Zima Gold tasted just like a room temperature Zima. It was awful. And when it got warm, it even got worse. But I can tell you this. Zima bottles, if shattered in the dark, you would actually see sparks. I know this firsthand.
Oh.
They spark when you break. Or when they
Nice.
break. Yep, and Bexy just sent me the coconut song.
Well, yeah, okay, I was going to do that, but now I don't have to. So, if you're going to make Molotov cocktails,
we're not.
It would have been amazing. Oh, sorry, no.
Yeah, we shouldn't be talking about that. It's kind of like
we talk about everything else, but
yeah, it's like I could tell you briefly, like how I tried to commit suicide, but I'm not going to go into the details because I don't want someone who's suicidal to go, oh, yeah, no, that's not saving a life.
I was just thinking about Ukraine.
That was random.
Yeah, I know. Welcome to my world.
Hey, my cousin with the Zima also did the yuck. Yeah, I agree. Blech. You know what? You like the Zimas? That's fine. You're okay to have your wrong opinion. That's okay. Nobody cares.
No, you're wrong by not liking Zimas. That's on you.
C's falling asleep.
You're just a hater.
No, I'm just staring off into space, really. Because I don't know anything about any of what you're talking about.
Just listening to these two idiots ranting.
And then Bexy just said, and my mental does not condone the making of Molotov cocktails.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think on my suicide attempt episode, I actually kind of went into enough details where somebody would be like, oh! But, I don't want to give people instructions because that's definitely not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to really highlight how serious I was. It wasn't a cry for help. It was a very serious attempt. I did try a few cry for helps before, but then when it was time...
If they're unheard, then, it's just like, nah.
Yeah. Like, one thing I could say about serious attempts, you might leave a note, but you're not going to reach out to anybody because you don't want anyone to talk you out of it. That's for me, it was the litmus test for serious versus cry for help. Although I don't take cry for helps lightly. The wrong thing said during the cry for help could push it into a serious.
Oh yeah.
And when they're coming at you saying, I'm seriously considering doing this, take it serious. Even if you know it's a cry for help, take it serious.
Yeah. Drop whatever you're doing.
Exactly.
It's serious now.
Exactly. That's a very volatile situation that you're in. That's a good word for it.
Because it could just be a cry for help, or it could be more. And you never know.
Yep.
Because you're not in that person's head.
And Jay just said, yep, Jamie just happened to come home early last time.
Yeah.
And then reached out to E as well, which is B. And yeah, I video called instantly. Yes, I did.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I fucking did.
Right.
I'm glad you're still here. Seriously.
Yeah. Me too. Because the world's better with you in it.
I don't even know how many tears I would have shed. You know. I mean, she's a sister to me.
Yeah, anyway. We're talking to you.
Yeah. Now we're one big happy. And the Jay just said, I think I'm glad too. I think you yeah. And, you know, it may still be too close to it to really know for sure, but it's a good place to be where you're starting to think, yeah, I'm glad.
Keep working on it.
Yeah. And Jay, but not quite there yet. Well, I have all the time in the world, which means literally I have until I die. So not necessarily all the time in the world, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm always here to help.
Always. I am.
Shit, I adopt people all the time, too. Like, you know, I mean, I'm here to help, too.
Oh, like Gary that lives in your backyard?
Yeah, except that I didn't really adopt him. He kind of came with the property.
Oh, I thought he was new.
Okay. No. If you notice, though, when you shine a flashlight on him, he's kind of translucent. I think he's coming over from the cemetery behind us.
Oh. We're thinking of two different Garys. Because he had a little tent.
Oh, yeah, that Gary? Yeah. No, I didn't take him in. That was my little girl's fault.
Oh,
and I
left
can't.
The gate open on the back.
No, she took him in to help take care of him because he needed help, and she sees mommy and daddy do it often enough that we couldn't break her heart.
Oh, there.
God, he's a weirdo though.
Yeah, I know. He was throwing things at me, and I had to leave.
Oh, you're glad it was just things. Eventually, he gets to fecal matter.
I didn't say what things, did I?
Really scary when he says, I'll be right back, and he hops the fence into the cemetery. Because you know the weird shit's coming. Okay, so we've just went to a really weird tangent there.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Well, I think we probably had a good stopping point here. Because, I mean, there really isn't much more that we could beat out of this topic. But seriously, if you are having a postpartum kind of depression thing, go to postpartum.net. They have great resources there. Like, I was poking through it through a good chunk of this episode. Amazing. And it's not just for the women, it's for men too. They are fully aware that, yeah, guys go through it too. And they're not going to mock you or do the, oh, really? Well, what kind of a man are you? No. They take it very seriously.
God, no.
There could also be support groups in your area if you happen to be in the right spots. Like, I mean, California, in my mind, is kind of a shithole in a lot of ways, but in others, it's fucking the best state in the nation. And when it comes to, like, mental health stuff, I think it's one of the best in the nation. Hands down. They're one of the first ones to really recognize where there's issues and become more accepting of them more quickly, even when it comes to guys. But yeah, you know, and if you are really having a crisis, there's always the suicide hotline. There's also the suicide text line. If you don't want to call and talk to someone, you just would rather text because you're more comfortable with it. There's always help out there. Hell, if you just want a stranger that you're somewhat familiar with because you listen to this podcast, email me, e@mimental.net. I'll respond. You know, I'm serious. I will respond personally. I don't have someone doing my emails for me because, well, we're still really small. And I don't know that I'd ever really want to get to that point where I have people filtering my email for me because I'm kind of a control freak like that.
You don't want a producer?
No, I really don't. I really don't.
Too much of a control freak. Don't touch my emails. Get out. Bring me some coffee.
Yep, and that's another thing Jay said too. Oregon too, definitely grateful for that. Yeah, Oregon and California, Washington, New York, as blue and as sometimes broke these states can be. When it comes to mental health, they are among the tops. Seriously, credit given where credit's due.
Yeah.
That said, we will find a guest for next. Oh no, we have a guest for next week. It's the name of the episode so far. It might actually become the name of the episode, but what we have it booked as, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's a bob. So,
oh, you have a bob.
We have a bob.
Excellent.
Most excellent.
Anyway, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad that you came on.
It was way more interesting and more fun than I was expecting. So,
like I said,
thank you for that.
We try to make this a comfortable environment where we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
And that's all we're having is a conversation. And you know what? We have tangents too. Like conversations do.
Well, as they do, yes.
Yeah. And that's the point. We want you comfortable. We want you to be able to speak freely and understand that this is, a safe space. And if anyone comes into the chat and says shit, we ban them. We've had to block a couple of people. They came in spamming, though. They came in spamming. They weren't being dicks.
Oh, one of those people is like, yeah, come.
Oh, you want more listeners? Come check us out. Bye. Bye.
Come check out my OnlyFans.
Well, we haven't had that yet. Oh, God. Okay, you're going to get me in trouble. The difference between Pornhub and OnlyFans is like the difference between Walmart and your local store. You can either see the mass-produced nationwide chain of butthole, or you can see your local butthole.
just go local.
Yeah, support your local butthole. All right, so until next week, we will be back, same time. If you like this episode and you would like to get reminders that we're going live, if you have the Spreaker app, there's a little star that you can put next to the podcast page. That's a favorite, and it'll alert you, if you have your settings set right, that we're going live. And we always go live about 5 minutes before we start talking. That way, people get alerted, people get in the chat, people can get ready, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Or you can also set up a reminder in your calendar every Thursday. Of course, there's going to be those Thursdays that we're not on, and you're going to get the alert, be like, oh, yay, oh. but then when we're back, you'd be like, oh, yay! So, until next week, I'm E.
I'm C.
And on behalf of Bexy, catch you guys next week.